Hi students, good morning. Welcome back to online class. I am very happy to meet you in this session through online. Are you fine students? I hope you all are fine and safe by the grace of God. Students, stay safe in your home. Okay students, in the previous classes we have to discussed about civics lesson 4 forms of government, isn't it? That lesson I had completed. So today I am going to teach the next lesson. That means today I am going to teach about geography lesson 5 biosphere. Okay, geography lesson 5 biosphere. Some classes this lesson started, some classes didn't start. So the lesson starting itself I am going to teach. Okay students, first four lessons already we have to learn. So today's class we are going to discuss about biosphere, the lesson biosphere. Okay students, the earth consists of four layers, isn't it? The earth consists of four layers. Can you remember students? First three layers in the previous lessons we discussed, isn't it? What are they? Lithosphere, atmosphere, and hydrosphere, isn't it? That three spheres we learned. So the fourth sphere, biosphere, now we are going to learn. Okay, students. First of all, biosphere. What is biosphere? Okay, biosphere, the part of Earth's surface and atmosphere in which plants and animals can live. Biosphere means the part of Earth's surface and atmosphere in which plants and animals where can live, that particular area, that is biosphere. Okay, from this lesson we are going to learn about uh, the meaning of biosphere, then the meaning of ecosystem, its components, functions, and biodiversity. These all things we are going to learn from this lesson. Okay, students. Now listen here. Biosphere is the fourth sphere of the earth. Okay, already I told there are four spheres in the earth: the lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, and the biosphere, isn't it? The biosphere is the fourth sphere of the earth, and this biosphere is the life supporting layer. Okay, life supporting layer. It exists on the earth's surface. Okay, and also this layer is composed lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. The biosphere layer is composed lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. Okay, and also it includes flora and fauna. Okay, it includes flora, biosphere. It includes flora and fauna live on near the earth surface. And also the vertical range of the biosphere is approximately 20 kilometer from the ocean floor. Approximately it is 20 kilometer from the ocean floor to the troposphere. Okay. However, this most of the plants and animals were live very narrow section about 1 kilometer above and below of the sea level. Okay, the vertical range of biosphere is approximately 20 kilometer from the ocean floor to the troposphere. Most plants and animals were live the narrow section about 1 kilometer above and below the sea level. Okay, then the biosphere is made up of different ecosystem and biomes. Okay, all living things, that means large or small living things, were grouped into species. Okay, this area, animal, plant, microorganisms were live. So it is called habitat. This layer is called habitat. Okay, a wide variety of plants and animals were lived here, so that habitat is known as biodiversity. Okay, that habitat is known as biodiversity. Now just you see this vertical range of biosphere on earth. Vertical range of biosphere on earth, just you see first sea level, below sea level, that means 4,000, 2,000, then sea level. From below sea level, the average ocean floor, that is the average ocean floor. Then above the sea level, the area where most of the living things were lived. area where most of the living things were lived. In the top of the this vertical range, tallest mountains are there. Okay, tallest mountains are there. Okay, now listen here. Below the sea level, average ocean floor. Then above the sea level, the area most of the living things were lived. Then the top of this is the tallest mountain. It has the tallest mountain. Okay. Then from here, first of all, we are going to learn about the ecosystem. Okay. First of all, we are going to learn about the ecosystem. Now, listen here. An ecosystem is a community where all living organisms live and interact with one another. Ecosystem, that means in Tamil we are saying Soolnilai Mandalam. Ecosystem in Tamil, Soolnilai Mandalam. Okay, ecosystem is a community where all living organisms live and interact with each other. Okay, so and also their non-living environment, for example, land, soil, air, water, etc., also includes in this ecosystem. Okay, then the ecosystems range in size from the smallest units that can sustain life to the global ecosystem or ecosphere. Okay, the ecosystems range in size from the smallest units that can sustain life to the global ecosystem or ecosphere. For example, cropland, pond ecosystem, forest ecosystem, desert ecosystem, etc. Okay, what are the examples? The cropland, pond ecosystem, forest ecosystem, and the desert ecosystem. Okay, then biosphere harbours are all ecosystem on earth and sustain life forms including the mankind. Okay, the biosphere harbours all ecosystem on the earth and sustain life forms including the mankind. Okay, then from here see what is meant by ecology. Branch of science that deals about ecosystem is called ecology. What is meant by ecology? The branch of science that deals about ecosystem is called ecology. What is meant by ecologist? A person who studies ecology is referred as an ecologist. What is meant by ecology? The branch of science that deals about ecosystem is called ecology. What is meant by ecologist? Ecologist means a person who studies ecology is referred to as an ecologist. Okay. Then from the ecosystem, we are first of all we are going to learn about the components of ecosystem. Okay, first of all we are going to learn about the components of ecosystem. Okay, an ecosystem is consist of three basic components. How many basic components are there in ecosystem? Three. Okay, they are abiotic components, biotic components, and energy components. Okay, what are the three basic components of ecosystem? Abiotic components, biotic components, and energy components. Okay, now we are going to learn about one by one. Okay, the first one is the abiotic components. Okay, the first basic components of ecosystem is abiotic components. Now listen here. Abiotic components, that means it includes non-living, inorganic, physical and chemical factors. Okay, what are includes in the abiotic components? The non-living things, inorganic matters, physical and chemical factors. For example, land, air, water, calcium, iron. These all are the best examples of the abiotic components. Okay. Abiotic components means it include non-living, inorganic, physical and chemical factors. Okay, what are the examples of abiotic components? Land, air, water, calcium, iron, etc. Okay, next the second one is biotic components. Okay, the second one is biotic components. Biotic components, it includes plants, animals and microorganisms. What are the things were includes in biotic components? Plants, animals, microorganism. Okay, and also this biotic components is classified into three categories. Okay, biotic components is classified into three categories. They are producers, consumers and decomposers. Okay, what are the three categories of biotic components? Producers, consumers, and decomposers. Okay, now listen here. The first one is producers. Okay, the first one is producers. Producers, that means the self nourishing components of the ecosystem. That means they are preparing their own food. Okay, they are preparing their own food. That means தானே உணவை உற்பத்தி செய்தல். Okay, producers, self nourishing components of the ecosystem. They are preparing their own food. So it is called autotrophs. It is called autotrophs. Autotrophs means they are preparing their own food. These producers, that means autotrophs, we can found both land and water. We can found both land and water. For example, plants, algae, bacteria, etc. Okay, plants, you know, isn't it? Algae means possy, isn't it? Then bacteria. These are the best examples of the producers. Okay, the categories of producer, that means autotrophs. Okay, then the second one is the consumers. Second category is the consumers. Consumers, they depend on producers. The consumers are depend on producers. They are depending directly and indirectly. Okay, they are depending directly and indirectly. So they are called heterotrophs. Okay, they are called heterotrophs. That means they depend. Heterotrophs means that they depend the producers. They depend the producers. Okay, then these consumers has some of the three main categories. Okay, biotic components has three categories. They are producers, consumers, and decomposers. Producers means they are preparing their own food. For example, plants, algae, bacteria, etc. Then consumers means they are depend on producers directly and indirectly. They are depend on producers. Okay, then these consumers has three common category. Okay, these consumers has three common category. They are primary consumers, secondary consumers, and tertiary consumers. What are the three category of consumers? Primary consumers, secondary consumers, and tertiary consumers. Okay, now listen here. Primary consumers, that means they depend on producers for their food. Okay, they depend on producers for their food. For example, zebra, goat, etc. Okay, zebra, goat, etc. is the best example of primary consumers. That means they depend their food on producers. Okay, then the second category is secondary consumers. Secondary consumers, they are small carnivores. Carnivores means flesh eaters. Okay, you know, isn't it? Carnivores, a small carnivores. That means flesh eaters. And also they consume herbivores. For example, lion, snakes, snake, etc. Okay, they consume herbivores, which are the things are eating plants that they are taking food. Okay, the small carnivores, flesh eaters, they consume the herbivores. The best example is lion, snake, etc. Okay, then the third category is tertiary consumers. Tertiary consumers, the top carnivores. Okay, tertiary consumers means the top carnivores. That means they prey both herbivores and carnivores. They prey both herbivores and carnivores. For example, owl, crocodile, etc. Okay, owl, crocodile, etc. These are the three common category of consumers. Okay, listen students. The ecosystem has three components. They are abiotic components, biotic components, and energy components. Then first we discussed about abiotic components. Then secondly we discussed about the biotic components. Biotic components has three categories. They are producers, consumers, and decomposers. From here, consumers has three category. Okay, consumers has three category. They are primary consumers, secondary consumers, and tertiary consumers. Okay, then the third category, that means the third category of this biotic components is decomposers. Okay, the third category is the decomposers. Decomposers, that means some organism that are incapable of preparing its own food. Okay, it is some organisms, they are incapable of preparing its own food. That means they live on dead and decaying plants and animals. Okay, they lived on dead and decaying plants and animals. So it is called saprotrophs. It is called saprotrophs. For example, fungus, mushrooms, etc. Okay, the best example is fungus, mushrooms, etc. Okay, then the third components of ecosystem is the energy component. Okay, third one is the energy component. Students, the next class I will teach that third components. That means the energy components. Okay, can you understand, students? Shall we recall the points? Just listen here. Today's class we discussed about the biosphere, isn't it? We discussed about the biosphere. That means biosphere, the part of your surface and atmosphere in which plants and animals can live. Biosphere. Okay, biosphere, it is the fourth sphere of the earth, isn't it? The life can exist in this layer. It consists of the first three layers, for example, lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. Okay, the vertical range of the biosphere is approximately 20 kilometers from the ocean floor. Okay, from the ocean floor to the troposphere. Okay, then from here we land about, that means below the sea level and above the sea level. That means average ocean floor below the sea level, above the sea level, the area of where most living things were living, the top of that is the tallest mountain. Okay, from this lesson first we learned about the ecosystem. Ecosystem means it is a community where all living organisms live and interact with one another and also with their non-living environment such as land, soil, air, water, etc. Okay, then from here we learned about what is ecology and what is ecologist, isn't it? What is ecology? The branch of science that deals about ecosystem is called ecology. What is ecologist? A person who studies ecology is referred as the ecologist. Okay, then next we learned about the components of ecosystem, isn't it? There are three basic components of ecosystem. What are they? Very good. Biotic components and energy components. Okay, abiotic components means it include non-living, inorganic, physical and chemical factors, etc. For example, land, air, water, calcium, iron, etc. Okay. Then biotic components. Biotic components means it include plants, animals and microorganisms. Then these biotic components has three categories. Okay, this biotic components has three categories. They are producers, consumers and decomposers. Producers means they are preparing their own food. For example, plants, algae, bacteria, etc. Then consumers means they are dependent on producers. They are dependent on producers. Okay, then these consumers has three categories. These consumers has three common categories. They are primary consumers, secondary consumers and tertiary consumers. Primary consumers means they depend on producers for their food. They depend producers for their food. For example, zebra, goat, etc. Secondary consumers means small carnivores. Okay, small carnivores. That means flesh eating animals. For example, lion, snake, etc. Okay. Tertiary consumers mean top carnivores. Okay, top carnivores. They prey both herbivores and carnivores. For example, owl, crocodile, etc. Okay. Then the third category is the decomposers. Decomposers, that means some organism that are incapable of preparing its own food. These decomposers live on dead and decayed plants and animals. Okay, they lived on dead and decayed plants and animals. So it is called saprotrophs. For example, fungus and mushrooms. Okay, example, fungus and mushrooms. Okay, understood now? Students, the continuation of this lesson I will teach the next class. Okay, now two question answer I will mark and give. Book page number 208, Roman number 3. Answer the following. Okay, answer the following. First question, what is biosphere? First question, what is biosphere? Answer is page number 202. Page number 202. Page number 202. Introduction paragraph. Introduction paragraph starting to biosphere, the fourth sphere. From there to uh, sixth line may be near the earth surface, up to near the earth surface. Okay, you have to mark. Then second question, what is an ecosystem? What is an ecosystem? That answer is page number 202. Page number 202. Ecosystem heading. Ecosystem heading, that para fully. Okay, page number 202. Ecosystem heading, that para fully. Okay, then give reason for the following. Roman number 4. Give reason for the following. First question, producers are also called autotrophs. That question's answer, you have to refer the guide. Okay, give reason, you have to refer the guide. Okay, then Roman number 5, distinguish between. First question, producers and decomposers. Okay, distinguish between producers and decomposers. That question's answer also you have to refer the guide. Okay, students. From here, any doubt you have to ask in the Zoom class. Okay, students. We will meet the next class. Thank you, students.